Welcome to the Circle of Love and Light. I'm Dr. Jane Mountrose, one of your hosts, along with my wonderful partner and co-host, Phillip Mountrose.
Hi.
And we're both founding directors of an organization called Awakenings Institute, which is devoted to creating a more loving world. And the Circle of Love and Light is part of that mission. So I'm happy to be here. One of our primary focuses at Awakenings Institute is on accelerated spiritual growth and healing. And our topic today, Opening to Miracles with Angelic EFT, reaches right into the heart of both of these areas. I think we've been connecting more in recent years with angels, and it's just such an amazing experience. They're magnificent beings of light who can help us to facilitate any request we make from them, including healing traumas and burdens and opening to miracles. And these are the things we're going to focus on today. So with Angelic EFT, we've developed kind of a unique approach, which includes both the angels and EFT and brings them together in a very powerful way. If you aren't familiar with EFT, we'll also show you how the basic recipe works. It's a tapping technique that actually it clears energy in the meridians. So before we begin, as I always do, I want to thank you for joining us. Let me see. I see Barbara Clark is here. Welcome. Welcome, Barbara. Thank you for joining us. And please feel free to say hello in the comments. We love to hear from you. And also, you can make comments, ask questions, whatever you want to do. You're a part of this as much as we are. So thank you for being here. One more brief thing I'd like to do before we actually start our discussion is to just take a moment to settle into being together in this moment now. This is Buddy, who likes to be in the energy also. So if you are in a place where it's safe to close your eyes, you can just close your eyes and invite yourself to receive, as you breathe, loving light from the angels and beings, all of the beings of light who are here supporting you. And now just breathing in that love, that light, and focusing on your breath. Just breathing, and breathing love is great, of course, but just focusing on your breath and feeling it in your body takes your attention out of your head where we tend to go off into the distance, so you can feel yourself more present here together. And welcome again to this now moment. So I'd like to start us, actually, if you could, Phillip, just share a bit about why focusing on all of this, miracles and love and angels, why that feels relevant and important to you.
Yes, probably if you're watching this, it's of interest to you as well. And it seems to be a natural affinity, and it may seem very fluffy and far out, and it can be at times. And our mission here at Awakenings Institute is bringing in the heaven to earth. That means the spiritual realm where we came from, all of us. And there's a veil, there's an amnesia that we forget that, but bringing that down in a practical way so it can help us here. Since we spend a lot of time on the other side spiritually, in its own realm, we don't need the earthly things to consider. But while we're here on earth, we can make our life much better, more a heaven on earth, if you bring in angelic support, spiritual support, and merge with it all, since it's all there anyways.
Right. Yeah. And I see Lauren Grace has joined us. Welcome, Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
Yeah, it's so interesting. When we first started this process we do with miracles, we call it the miracle reframe. Many decades ago, I can think back more than 20 years ago using it. I can't remember exactly when we started, but we realized when we started using it, you can use the miracle reframe just by itself or with EFT. It holds a high frequency of energy that seems to be able to burn through a lot of limitations that keep us kind of boxed into the herd of humanity that functions on fear and separation. So if you, the miracle reframe, actually, just to to be clear, the miracle reframe, the basic statement, which you can vary, and we'll talk a bit about that too, is I know that anything is possible and miracles are happening now. And I've found just saying it 3 times makes a big difference. I can't help but smile if I say it a few times. We might want to all say it together. I know that anything is possible and miracles are happening now. I know that anything is possible and miracles are happening now. I know that anything is possible and miracles are happening now. That was 3 times. And do you feel a difference, Philip, just saying it a few times? It, you know, it's really amazing. And when we first started doing it, and I thought of it myself, I thought, well, this is kind of a fluffy thing, you know, it's probably good for some things and not for others. But we've found really over time that it can be very effective even with physical challenges. It just seems it is such a, I think the vibration of the statement is so high that it just burns through stuff.
Yeah, it sort of as a direct laser acupuncture from above onto whatever needs healing or balancing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, it's so effective. I do it myself almost every day now. In the morning, I do it. You could call it a 1-minute meditation. Just, oh, well, we'll show you how we do it with the angels and the EFT. But it's just repeating it a few times like that, along with the tapping, the EFT tapping, and inviting angels for support. Those are 3 things. You bring them all together, it's quite a combination.
And one of the key parts of the phrase is anything is possible.
Yeah.
And that opens up your mind to different possibilities, because we live in a very sort of limited, blinders on world much of the time, and all our programming and keeping us safe and things we have to attend to, that a lot of miracles can pass us by, and then we get stuck in this repetitive autopilot world, and this opens us up to more of our true nature and the possibilities available to us.
Yeah. But I noticed Barbara Clark says yes. I think that was after just saying it a few times. It is really remarkable. And when we started working with angels, for me, it really started with being connected to Archangel Metatron, who really feels to me almost like a guardian angel, like he's with me pretty consistently. And when I also, in my morning meditations, I dictate into Microsoft Word everything that I'm experiencing, which I have found to be valuable also, because I can just share what I'm receiving as messages from Metatron or whatever is going on. And the other day when I was doing this process, I noticed after doing it, I had a smile on my face, and I had that kind of blissful feeling, which I feel is like where the best place to be, just that in that place of bliss. And Metatron said at that point that was happening because I had freed myself from the self-imposed limitations that can hold me kind of in a more 3D perspective, worrying about, well, these are the things I have to do today or whatever. Starting the day, I want to feel relaxed and in a place where I know that I can accomplish things that day, but also be able to be in the moment. And that was what he said. He said, it's all now. It is all in the now moment. It's a higher perspective beyond time and space. And it again made me think of that image of being in a box. We might, if we're kind of stuck in in some kind of limiting perspective, it is like being in a box. And this just this simple process can break you out of that box, which I think is really remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
And
And if
just one more thing, Metatron says it is all pure consciousness when you get into that now moment.
mm-hmm. And if you do it in the morning, it's a way to get your day off to a good start, which is more than just a nice thing to say, because you want to
Right.
Sort of plan or position your life so you get off to a good start every day. It makes it a lot easier what will follow.
Right. Yeah, you're really setting up your intention for the whole day and your energy. You have to get in that right space, which reminds me, excuse me, another thing I do. I have this little, I have a pad of paper and I write down usually, like this is today, 3 things that I might want to accomplish that day so that I don't overwhelm myself by expecting myself to then all the other things, like then there's this and this and this, and if I don't have it really well defined for myself what I'm going to do, I can be in a state of anxiety all day. And so I do this, and then I do the miracle reframe. this is my kind of daily thing right now, and talk to the angels or whatever it is. It just sets me up in a completely different way. And it doesn't take that much time. That's another thing. People say, well, I don't really have time. And I don't know how you can not have time, because if you don't have a clear intention and feel like you're in a clear space in the moment, then the whole day can just cascade.
Yeah, right.
Barbara says, I like to connect to consciousness as I walk early in the morning.
Yeah, walking is great.
Yeah,
being
we
outside,
do that too, actually.
exercising, all of that is really wonderful stuff to make sure you know, if you can do it every day.
Yeah, and you can even do, if you feel like it, just say the miracle reframe to yourself as you're walking. And it can be, if that statement, the way it is, doesn't feel quite like what you would want to say, you can shift it. One thing I say often is, I know that anything is possible, and I am being showered by miraculous blessings now. So whatever, I think it is important for all of us to understand that we have a rhythm in the way that we use words and a resonance with certain words. And the words that we use personally are meaningful to us in a way that it goes beyond just dictionary interpretations or meanings of words. So if you want to vary it, just vary it in a way and notice how that works for you. I love being showered by miraculous blessings. I think that image works for me. I see sparkles of light from the divine, and I feel good.
For me, even though I like imagery, it seems to be secondary in terms of how I process, because everyone's processing differently. Some people are more auditory knowing, I guess, is sort of the way it's described, the psychic intuitive modality. So one of the phrases that seems to work for me, since we're sharing phrases or things, is thank you, universe. So when you say that, you can add that onto the miracle reframe, you know, anything is possible. Thank you, universe, you know, for whatever you're focusing on, you know, for feeling better, healing, communicating, figuring out my next step, whatever. Thank you, universe is an easy, memorable, for me, uplifting phrase.
Yeah. And Kathy Sigia, I hope I pronounce it right. She said thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
And there you go. Thank you.
Yeah. It's interesting. Since I've started connecting with the angels and also I've been traveling into higher dimensions, I notice love, and I also notice a deep sense of gratitude. It's deeper than I've ever sensed before, and somehow it seems like they go together. Like when you're in a place where you're connecting with divine love, there also is gratitude in your heart. That's what I sense. Have you noticed that, Philip?
Yeah, there is a sense of appreciation and kind of a quietness in your heart and
Mm-hmm.
gentle appreciation of things. And I'd say on the connecting with the angels and integrating that into my life, the way I describe it is it's an upgrade to my life.
Right.
So the quality of my life has gone to a higher level. It's just
Yeah.
richer, it's more connected, it's more meaningful, it's more grateful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's so just so beautiful. I think, just being in a place of presence with miracles, gratitude, being aware of the support you're receiving from the divine. It's a beautiful place to be. And I've wondered over the years what it means to be beyond time and space, and realize now it has to do with when you're being in the now moment. There's something about that where everything is just very fluid and synchronous. You are beyond time and space. You can be in that place where anything is possible.
Yes, one way of looking at the time, space, and kind of understanding the bewildering experience that we're going through on Earth, where a lot of things just don't make sense, and that's good to accept that, is that that's one measure, that's one experience of having time and space. It's not the only experience. We tend to believe that everything is time and space, but there is a way of going beyond it. And in our quote afterlife, our more eternal life, our soulful life, there we're in that timeless space and place. And that's actually more the norm, which is curious. And it seems like we need to come to Earth, we need to have taken the red pill, the forgetful pill, to come here and say, agree to this and say, I have no idea. I can't remember what beyond time and space. It seems so strange. And yet that's where most of our being, can't say in time, that's where the bulk of our energy is and exists. It's rather paradoxical.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's really amazing. I mentioned also earlier that our focus, I think one of our primary focuses right now, is becoming more aware of our greatness in a very tangible way. We've talked about teaching courses in life purpose and many different things. We've talked about connecting to our greatness, which you can describe it as your unique genius, your magnificence. And it is becoming for us much clearer what that is. We started going into the Akashic records, which we'll be talking about a little bit toward the end here, and realizing that, which I think I realized it before, but not as tangibly as now, that the soul exists at different levels, in different dimensions, and in different states of wholeness. And if we can connect with these higher frequencies, it lifts us into that space where we can perceive our greatness. And we can perceive in a more, I think, in a more specific way, what that is and how to embody it. There are these phrases, and we've used them for years, like bringing spirit fully into form. What is that really? It has always felt right to me, and I can feel that happening. But how can we more tangibly understand what that means? So that we've been exploring those things. And I think that this process, the miracle reframe, is a really amazing way to set ourselves up to rise into those higher spaces where we can actually access the truth of who we are in the higher dimensions as souls, our souls. And I think we've both been having our own personal experiences of what that is. And it is very magical, actually, wouldn't you say, Phillip?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it makes life more meaningful and special, and appreciative of each day.
Right. Well, and I think it brings clarity to some of the things that seem natural to us. Like Phillip just as a general thing. Just Phillip has a certain kind of a sense of humor. And I think that reflecting on it now from where we are, we can understand more of what that is from a more multidimensional perspective.
I did a session with someone about discovering their soul signature, something we're exploring as well. And he described it as his true composite self, which I thought was a very interesting phrase.
Yeah.
So we have these multiple elements that we built in, and that is part of our unique genius that we've developed over time through experiences and lifetimes and such.
Yeah. And if you can understand that we're all part of the same whole, that we're all individuated aspects of our Creator, of God, then there is a there is a kind of a way to access how the aspects of ourselves that are closest to that, to God.
Right.
Metatron is an example. Metatron, the archangel, who is a magnificent being of light. He's one of the angels who's considered to be closest to God. And when you invite him into your space, we could do that right now. Just close your eyes for a moment and invite Archangel Metatron to be with you. And he's often experienced as a radiant white light, might be kind of a sparkly. I always associate sparkles with angels because the sparkles it's like divine light, sparks of divine light. But it is, some people describe Metatron's energy as like a diamond white light. And sometimes I see him as holding in his hand a bright light. And I wondered what it was. It's like he's wanting to share it with us. I wondered what it was for a long time. And then I realized it's the essence of the self for each of us. So each of us is a beautiful, vibrant light. And Metatron can help us to understand that in ourselves. So you can just feel his energy. Anytime in a peaceful moment, you can invite him to join you. You might feel him, as Phillip suggested, maybe you don't see per se, maybe you feel, or just know. You may just know that he's with you. You might actually see him. Sometimes I see angels and I see them with their wings. They might stand next to me or they might hug me with their wings. There are many things that might happen when we connect with the angels. And you can also invite that beautiful, radiant white light into your body, into the cells of your body. This is another way to raise your frequency. Just feel it lifting. The cells love love. All of them. They all want more love. You might feel it if there are places in your body where you don't love yourself. Can invite that light into those places. And just notice what you feel. And when I invite them, I always want also to express my gratitude for them for being with us and sharing with me. So I want to do that. And then we can come back and take our next step towards Angelic EFT. And that's one step, is the first step in any Angelic EFT process that we do, is connecting with one or more angels. Barbara Clark says, I like to think we are all the rays of the sun, of source, all connected, even with other beings. And it is true. We can sense that we're all one. So Phillip, would you like to share with everybody a little bit about where the tapping points are before we start? Just for someone, if they don't know EFT, when we tap through the points, then they'll know where to tap.
Right. So there are two components to Angelic EFT. One is the connecting with the angels, and you could connect with Metatron unless you have another angel you want, like Jane introduced. And the second part is, while you're doing the tapping, which are key energy points on the body based on acupuncture and meridians, the energy points that are in and out of balance. And the idea is to get them in balance relative to whatever you're tapping on. So the tapping points, there's the top of the head, and you can tap or touch them 5 to 7 times. The eyebrow.
Tapping lightly, not hurting yourself. Yeah.
And then the eyebrow, either or both sides by the bridge of the nose.
Yeah.
And you can even touch them too if you don't want to tap. That's another alternative. And then there's the side of the eye near the temple there, and under the eye. Sometimes these are sensitive. These are where they put the acupuncture needles, but there's just your fingers here.
Yeah, you can feel where the points are because they're sensitive.
And then under the nose, these are key meridians that go throughout your whole body. And then the chin, middle of the chin, you're tapping. And then the collarbone, the bone that's like a collar under your neck, and there's a ridge on it, and under the ridge. And sometimes this is kind of sensitive. You can tap or touch that. And the last point is under the arms, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like hugging yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, give yourself a good embrace. And then the last part we call the reset process. We added the holistic EFT, making it a little more holistic, is tapping the top of your head across your head for the left.
Yeah, with the whole hand. Yeah, with hitting both sides, not hitting
brain. Yeah. Good boy, good girl, kind of one. And
yeah.
Doing well. And then you breathe through the nose and exhale. And then the last part is the heart. You tap across the heart to integrate whatever you're focusing on into the heart with the angelic support in this case. Breathe. And that's the round of tapping points.
Right.
Holistic EFT.
Yeah. Oops. I was trying to get rid of this dog, but he won't. He's not going for it. He loves to be with us. So I think we could start. Did you have anything you wanted to add before we do some angelic EFT?
No.
Okay. So we're going to do 2 different ones, and you can do them individually or you can do them together as a sequence. Watch out, buddy. I think he smudged my glasses. And the first one I want to do is, there's something here on chat I don't understand, but I'll just let that go. The first one I'm going to do has to do with the violet flame. So we're going to invite Archangel Zadkiel, who is the archangel who is connected with the violet light or violet flame. We can also invite Ascended Master Saint Germain, the keeper of the violet flame.
Yep.
So what we're going to do, and you can focus on just anything you're experiencing now that seems to be blocking you from just being able to be open to miracles in the moment. You might be feeling some anxiety or stress or just whatever. Or if there's nothing in particular, just asking for an upgrade. The violet flame is really a beautiful, beautiful light for clearing. It actually transmutes energy. So we can start. You can close your eyes if you're in a safe place to do this. And we're going to invite Archangel Zadkiel and Ascended Master Saint Germain to join us and to bless us with a cascade of violet flame light, which you might experience whatever way you experience it. It might be a swirl of light around you. It might be, for me, I imagine I always have sparkles, violet light with beautiful sparkles in it. Just invite it over you and all around you. And it can transmute it's like alchemy, transmuting base metals into gold. So we're just transmuting anything that is too solid and too restrictive into a state of spiritual openness, love, and joy. And we can just focus on that energy. And as you do, we're going to do the tapping, starting at the top of the head, not focusing particularly on the tapping for anything specific. Just we're tapping as we imagine that violet light flowing around us and through us. You can be sending it as you're tapping through all these points, sending that violet light anywhere where you feel you need it now, anything that feels congested. And I know I was talking with someone this morning who had a migraine, chatting actually on Facebook. And you can just do a couple rounds, focusing on that beautiful violet light. And what I've noticed actually as the energy clears is that the thing that it opens to is joy, love and joy. So I'm tapping on the side. Just feeling that beautiful light. And noticing if there are any insights from your own soul's presence or from Archangel Zadkiel or Saint Germain. I know when Saint Germain first came to me, he wanted me to know that he was available to support me and the people who I serve with this beautiful, beautiful violet flame. And as Philip mentioned, when you're done with the last round, you can then do the reset, which is just tapping first across the top of your head and taking one nice breath. And then on your heart area, another breath. And what that does is it integrates whatever the clearing has been into your heart. And from there, you might sense a message. And to me, the message seems to be that divine light is always ours for the taking. It's always here for us. We're not here for it sometimes. And it wasn't that long ago. I can't remember exactly when, but there was a time when I felt that there were times when we could actually be separate from God. And I realized actually it's the illusion of separation. It's not real separation. So if we can do these kinds of things that bring us more into that state of connectedness, we can recognize that it's always here for us. So how was that for you, Philip?
It was good. It was very centering. It was being the peace. It's growing in love, sharing the love, being part of that higher vibration. It was very good.
Mm-hmm. And you can just sit with the violet flame. I think the thing with adding the tapping is when you tap through these points in the energy system, it's kind of like a tune-up in a car. It's like what it's doing is sending energy through the whole meridian system. And it does seem to accentuate and actually increase the effectiveness of whatever it is that you're focusing on. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to really be thinking about it. That's why it's called continuous tapping. You're just tapping on the points. You're not trying to do anything with it. You're just having the experience of tapping while you're having the experience of that beautiful flow of violet light. And can really change things. And that is, I think, a gift that has been given to humanity to use at this time of what we call the Great Awakening. We're at the time of the Great Awakening, and we have these tools from the divine that are available to us. And I think that's what Saint Germain wanted me to know, and probably wants everybody here to know, that this is here for you every day, anytime. And it does bring joy. That really surprised me. When I first started doing it, I didn't have any expectation of what it would be. And then I would be surprised, well, gee, I feel happy. I wasn't expecting to feel happy, but I did. And it's kind of like a variation on the miracle reframe in a certain way. So I see Nikki Wood is with us, and she says, I love that tune-up, like you said. And it's so fast. We don't have to have a lot of time, but these minutes that we spend that we devote to our inner world are going to make a big difference on the whole day when we start out with it. So that was the first one. And the second one is the miracle reframe with, we're going to do that angelic EFT with the miracle reframe and continuous tapping. So we'll be repeating the miracle reframe as we tap through the points. And for this one, I want to invite in Archangel Raziel, who is another one I feel very connected to. Archangel Raziel is known as the magician of the archangels. So he has that kind of a magician-like energy. And he's also considered by many to be the spiritual guru of the angelic realm. So he's very mystical and deep. In other words, when we're talking about magic in relation to Raziel, it isn't a superficial thing. It is actually a very deep spiritual energy. And Archangel Raziel presents himself often as a rainbow of light. So we're going to start, you can imagine, now close your eyes if you can, again, imagining yourself being blessed with rainbows of light, inviting Archangel Raziel to join us. And to me, I often see it as sparkles of all the colors of the rainbow cascading over me. And then I invite them into the body with the sparkles. And each cell can choose the colors that are right for it. So we have all of the colors of the rainbow for the cells to choose from and invite it into the cells. Sometimes when I do that, inviting the light into the cells, I can feel tingling, which I feel right now. And then we can start the miracle reframe. So we tap on the top of the head. I know that anything is possible and miracles are happening now. Just tapping your own pace through the points. I know that anything is possible and miracles are happening now. I know that anything is possible and miracles are happening now. I know that anything is possible and miraculous blessings are flowing into my life in this now moment. I know that anything is possible and miraculous blessings are flowing into my life now. And then a lot of times when we end actually using the reframe reset, you can say, I know that anything is possible on the head. So you're integrating that idea into your brain and then just bringing it into the heart, and miracles are happening now. And notice that. I just feel a deep sense of peace personally. What are you noticing, Phillip?
Yes, I feel peace and more energy, kind of a quiet, even peace, flow, balance.
Right. And again, we want to thank Archangel Raziel, Saint Germain, and Zadkiel. We can thank Metatron again for being with us. And just notice what you're feeling in relation to gratitude. I just noticed with the angels, I just feel such a deep sense of gratitude. And it is, I think, connecting with divine love. It changes things. And it opens us in wonderful ways. And as we mentioned too earlier, with a focus on opening more to our true identities and greatness, when you are able to get into a place, a more loving, grateful, peaceful kind of now moment place. This would be also a time, if you want to close your eyes again and just ask, what is something I don't know about my greatness that the universe, that the beings of light can share with me now. Because we are all uniquely great. And the things that are our greatness are the things that will make us feel most alive, help us to feel most joyful about our life, bring more life into every moment. Are you sensing anything there, Phil?
Feels like a higher vibration is coming in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just feeling a sense that everything is in a perfect state. We're all in and we all are. I think it's interesting. In every moment, we're all in the perfect place to take our next step.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we have a choice on how we approach that. We can have maybe a challenge and approach it with feeling like we're victims or resentful or angry or whatever it is. Or we can process whatever it is that we're experiencing, maybe with the violet flame, and open to miracles and approach it from that perspective. And it's always a choice. We always have that choice. And of course, if we're brightening our own, our own energy field, we're brightening it up and increasing our capacity to hold light, to hold higher frequencies of light, of course, then we're brighter lights for the planet, which is this is what we're here in the circle to do.
Mm-hmm.
To radiate high frequencies of divine light. Right, Bud? He says, well, I'm enjoying it, at least. Aren't you? You enjoy the light.
So obviously everyone wants to improve themselves and upgrade themselves. I mean, people watching this are, a lot of
Right.
people are just kind of living their life day to day and not paying much attention to this. But to those who are wanting to upgrade their lives, another incentive is the Great Awakening, the accelerated evolution, the challenges and crises that are going on planet-wise. So that's another motivation to step up your own light and vibration to help others.
Mm-hmm. Right. And if we understand that love is the solution, love is the thing, opening to love is the thing that's going to solve all of the challenges we face as a society. That's so important, because when I could see that clearly, it made me think like I could make a difference. When you think, well, being a political activist or something, do I need to do that, or what can I do? Well, if you can vibrate love, that is the highest frequency. That's the best thing that we can all do, is vibrate love. Because if everybody was coming from a place of love, there would be no war, because we would care for everyone. There would be no poverty. I think from a higher vibrational perspective, solutions to problems like the environment would emerge. There are a lot of things technologically, I think, even, that are possible that we're not seeing yet because of the the vibration of the mass consciousness. And if we can just lift the whole, then we can open to more possibilities for everyone, more miracles.
They call it the Maharishi Effect, when Maharishi Yogi, about if people are meditating on peace, externally, geographically, areas become more peaceful that are meditated on. And we can do that individually with our own vibration, like Jane was saying, and raising that. And we each have roles. Some people, Zelensky has a role of leading Ukraine, and he's using the love vibration differently from someone else who, if you're working in a corporation or something, you're going to have a different way of expressing in a different role. And sometimes you might feel you have to change your external position to accomplish what you really want to do.
Right. And also, if you are in a corporation, you can be a source of light for that corporation.
Right.
If you are radiating love when you're there, you're helping to lift the whole. And I think wherever we are, we're doing that. I know some people have said to me, well, I don't want to be on Facebook because of all the bad things that are happening. Well, if there's no light there to balance it out, is that better? To me, it's not, and that's why I'm here.
It's not all or nothing.
No. In fact, I think we can be everywhere, and I think that wherever you are, if you're in a job maybe that you're not liking now, at least know that you're in the place where you can be vibrating love to people who might not have any. Otherwise, it might not be as bright as it is if you're not there.
Yeah, it might be a cloudy day every day for some people.
Right. Yeah. Or your neighborhood. You can be a source of light for your neighborhood, for your community, and then of course for the world. And I'm always have my world. I imagine sending love to it. I think Buddy wants to eat it. He says, I'll take that. No, not for you.
He wants to play with it.
Yes. So that feels pretty complete to me. How about you, Philip?
That feels complete.
Okay. So then there's so much happening in the world, and of course in Awakenings Institute. Philip, would you like to describe
Right. We're
what we're
excited
doing?
about this course, which is now available, the Akashic Records course, opening to your soul's greatness, love, and joy. And that's something if you haven't enrolled in, you can still do that. We're going to have some live trainings that will all be recorded in August 2022, coming up here at this time every Wednesday. So if that appeals to you, connecting with the Akashic Records, which is the repository of all the knowledge of time that you've lived in this life and past lives, and everyone's, you can access it. We'll train you, we'll show you how to access it for yourself. Why access the Akashic Records? You don't have to be like Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet a century ago. I mean, anyone can do it for themselves, not reading others, but records, but reading your own life in a very deep way. It's like the internet, but without all the distortion and opinions, but it's very objective imprints of your life, of where you are, where you've been, where you might want to go. So it's an incredible resource, and it's in a very loving field with angels and record keepers. It's not a lot of opinionated people giving you comments about your life. It's very objective and pure, and it can be used for wonderful things. So if you want to learn about the Akashic Records in the new course, you can go to, here's a tiny URL. I put it in the chat there, tinyurl.com/Akashic-course, tinyurl.com/Akashic, AKASHIC-course. And you can find out about the Akashic Records. If that appeals to you, we'd love to have you join us. It'll be an extraordinary journey. If you join us, you'll love it, probably, if you're drawn to this.
Right. Yeah, and you'll hear more about how we've experienced it. I think for myself, it's been one of the most transformational things that has ever happened. Easily, actually easily the most transformational, connecting me more with that truth of who I am, what the greatness is in me that wants to be brought fully into form, and shared out into the world, and understanding how bright we actually are in terms of light. Just each of us is a brilliant light, and it's incredible. It's I think it's a place where you can get, or and we've been doing these things for decades now. We've been getting more specific information about ourselves and about reality than we have ever gotten before, because it is a place that is purely you. Your Akashic library is your own soul's, you could even call it your soul's home. It is the place that holds your records of your past, present, and projected future, which can change. It's a living library. It's always changing. So it's fascinating and just so extremely profound. So anyhow, we welcome anyone who wants to join us. You can also find out more about the circle at circleofloveandlight.org. And if you want to support the circle, we appreciate your presence here. Together, I think also in this space, you might feel a brighter light emerging, because even though we're in different places, all of us who are here, we are here together energetically. So you're benefiting from that group, the power of a group. And you can always like our page. We really appreciate having our page liked on Facebook, which is facebook.com/awakenings circle, all in one word. You can also share the video with your friends on Facebook, or if you're on YouTube, share out the video. You can also invite your friends to join you in the circle and share in that way. It's another way to deepen relationships. So again, thank you for joining us. The final thing we do each week is to send that love and light that we've collectively gathered during our time together. Just imagine sending it out in your week ahead with sparkles, whatever you sense, just sending that love out. Because then as you move into your future, it's there for you in every now moment. So thank you again. Have a wonderful week. Barbara says, super grateful to be with you. Thank you, Barbara, and thank you so much for joining us.
Great being with you.